This is not for people that just kind of don't like their job or they're getting a little sick of their boss. No, this is for people that are 100% fed up. They are done with the job. They would quit tomorrow if they could, but they can't, unfortunately, likely due to money problems. So, how do you quietly quit a job? Well, this has become popular lately, and I'm going to break it down into two categories if you think about it. So the two categories are time and money. These are really the only two things that matter. Now, presumably, you don't want to spend any more time at this job than you have to, but you would like to maximize the amount of money you're getting. Kind of like your employer. They would like to maximize the amount of time they get out of you for the least amount of money. So basically, your goals are antithetical to your company's. And that's generally at least the case. Now, how do you mitigate this situation? Well, you need to get as much for your time as you can, and you need to get as much money for your time as you can, but you also need to spend the least amount of time at your job as possible while still maintaining your financial obligations. Now again, if you don't hate your job, click off on this video. This is not for you. Speaking of toxic people, if you're in a work environment like that you want to quiet quit, don't tell anyone in the workplace that you're quietly quitting. Don't mention this system. Don't mention anything. Because when you're in a crap environment like that, 9 times out of 10, you're full of snitches. It's full of snitches. People that are trying to constantly kiss management's ass. Those are the kind of environments that are generally toxic to begin with. The employees are sort of in a survival mode, just like you. And so their coping mechanism, instead of quietly quitting like you're going to do, is to kiss management's ass in hopes that they please give me some better position or raise or whatever. And it's pathetic, but that's the corporate world. By the way, if you are in a union, some of the worst jobs that I have been in unions. They are usually shit places to work. That's why they have a union, because a good employer wouldn't allow a union to begin with, because people would be happy with where they're working. But then again, a lot of these unions are just there to get their cut. So you need to find out, is this union actually a good union? Is this a union that's actually representing the people paying into it? And if it is representing them, then generally speaking, of course, your union will have a termination with just cause or good cause. And that means your employer can't just terminate you because they believe your performance is inadequate. They have to actually document things. And so that may be advantageous as well. Use that union contract, read that union contract. Don't do anything illegal, but stretch the rules as much as you can. Again, you're quietly quitting. You don't want to give this goddamn employer any extra time or money. So first step, the basics of your time. You need to read your company policy and your laws. And I know I don't want to bore people that go, oh shit, I hate laws, I hate reading about law. You need to find someone who knows a lot about labor law, or get to know labor law yourself, which is an incredibly complex topic all of its own. But if your company offers vacation or sick time, step one, use it all. Use it all. Now, I'm not telling anybody here to do anything illegal, by the way. I'm telling people to not give your employer anything extra, because part of quiet quitting is not giving them any extra minutes, any extra time, any extra effort. You're doing the bare fucking minimum and collecting your check and getting the fuck out of there. That is what quiet quitting is all about. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you have a disability, let's say, and you're on FMLA, which grants up to 90, I believe they don't have to be consecutive, essentially leave days or a year. You can look at the number of hours, look at the fine details of the law. And you're sick, you have a disability, a legitimate disability. Don't go into work just to break your back for your employer. Use your FMLA. You have vacation time built up in the bank. Don't work hard for your employer. Demand, if at all possible, to use that vacation. Use up that leave time. Unless you have obligations, use it up. Because again, you don't want to be at the job any more than you have to. Don't cash out vacation, use it. The next thing is, and these are just some basics, quit being social with your employer. If they have a banquet or an event, don't go. You don't have to go. if they tell you that it's optional. Don't go to the Halloween parties, don't go to the Christmas parties, fuck them. And then the next thing is don't you spend a minute of time that you're not getting paid. Especially if you're a wage employee. Obviously, if you're a salaried employee, you may not have that option. But if you're working for a wage, I remember looking at jobs and people would come in early and do extra work or whatever that they're not on the clock for. Don't give a minute of your time that you're not getting paid. Like if your time is to start at 8 a.m., you're not walking through that door till 7:59 and a half. And I'm serious about that because every minute you're wasting at your job is a minute of life at this job that you now hate. I mean, think about that. You spend even an extra minute at your job that you're not on the clock. Let's say 200 minutes a year, 200 days a year you're working, probably more than that. But even there, that's hours of time. I mean, that's literally like 3 hours of time that you could have been doing anything else. You could have been spending time with someone you love or doing something else. Do not spend a minute, do not give them a minute of your time that you are not getting paid. All right, and the next thing is do not make it seem like you need this job. This can be another subtle benefit to quiet quitting. You want to have the aura coming off of you that you not only don't want to be there any longer than you have to, but you're so good you could get another job at any time. Now, I know that is not the reality of most people that are quiet quitting, but your employer may not know that. So that can potentially lead you into asking for more money down the road when you find another job. And you may want to extend your quiet quitting longer if the payout is good enough. You tell your employer, look, I found this other job. That is the attitude you need to have, though, even if you don't have another job lined up. Because the most powerful position you can be in life with anything is one that you can walk away from. If you can't walk away from your job and you don't have some money saved up, you're in fucking trouble. Third thing, quit the little social interactions or keep them to a bare minimum. When you walk in that door in the morning, and again, not a minute early, you don't talk about your vacation, you don't talk about anything. If somebody wants to engage with you, you get them off the topic. Somebody comes in, the hot secretary working, whatever, and asks you how you're doing, you just say, good, thanks. And you might throw in a quick, how about you? Good, great, move on. That's all just social masturbation anyway. So just get it out of the system. Remember, you're now at a job that is likely toxic and doesn't have any sort of community anyway. By the way, these are usually the kind of jobs with very toxic workplaces, toxic work environment, and horrible bosses and employers that are incompetent and are making the workplace a living hell for everyone. So again, that's what this video is tailored for. It's not tailored for people that are somewhere in between. This is for people that are done. You are done with the job. You would quit tomorrow if you could, but you can't. Part of going into learning the rules is, of course, not only the laws, but if you're in a union, read that contract. Make sure you know what the rules on leave are. Make sure you stretch everything as much as you can. Part of familiarizing yourself with the law is if your employer has come to expect a lot from you, and you're now only giving them the bare minimum, they may want to terminate you. And that goes back into why you need to have the attitude that you could give or take with this job. You don't give a shit anymore. And you've got another job lined up. But if your employer does terminate you, again, knowing the law, collect unemployment if you can. I know in my state in Montana, the onus, and again, I'm not saying do anything illegal, but it's generally presumptive that you get unemployment. And the onus is on the person who's separated from employment to show it was with good cause. And what that means is that if you separate from employment, it's on you to show it was good cause, not the employer. If the employer terminates you, it's on them to show that they terminated you with good cause. So they're going to have to be very careful if they want to terminate you and not have to, and you not get unemployment, because they're going to have to make sure they document your poor performance. But again, you're not all about poor performance. You're about minimal performance. You're about not giving anything extra or giving a shit about anyone there at the company. And, this goes into the law again, too. Don't let them get anything for free out of you. I have talked to people that have worked for employers, and the employer's gotten fed up with them and they fire them, only to find that they didn't pay them at the end. They said your performance was so poor or whatever at the end, we're not paying you for your last week or whatever. There's no such thing as free work. So in my state, if an employer does that to you, and I hear that as a common story among people that I know, you file a fucking wage claim on their ass. Once they have a wage claim on their asses or you threaten a wage claim, most employers will back off of that nonsense. It's short order. And you can file a wage claim, at least like in my state, State Department of Labor's website. You don't get to have somebody work and then not pay them just because you believe their performance isn't good enough. And the other thing is, this might be obvious, but you need to be looking for other jobs. If you've made up your mind that you're quiet quitting this job, you need to find a job that's at least bearable. Now, I'm the first person to tell you, Raymond will tell you this, work sucks, generally speaking. Work is work. Now, I have a few jobs that I like. Now, that being said, most of the time, most jobs I've had in my life, I don't like. And so, but there's a difference between not liking a job and being unbearable. There's a lot of jobs that I've done and haven't treated the employer with any disrespect or done quiet quitting because the job was bearable. I didn't love the job, but it was bearable. And there have been other jobs that are fucking unbearable because management is so bad, there's no accountability, and those are the jobs that are toxic, that harbor toxic people in your work environment. And those are the jobs you want to quiet quit. You must know the rules in and out. So if your employer gives you a deadline to get something done in 10 days, you know what? You have it done on day 10. You don't hurry your ass up and get it done on day 9. You put in no extra effort for them at all. Hey, you feel sick? You got some sick leave? Don't go into work. Time to call out sick. You are going to leverage every little bit that you can of leave time, and money. And then in the times when you're not at work, you're going to leverage that time to either work on something else that makes money or find a different job. Quiet quitting is a real thing. Workplace stress is never been higher for most workplaces. But just be smart about what you're doing. Don't do anything illegal. Don't tell anyone that you're quietly quitting. There's no purpose in doing that. So if you found this video helpful or you'd like any other advice, I've left a bunch of helpful links in the description. Please go check them out. Related to certain workplace laws, please go check them out. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe.